So, there's a mysterious new AI model called Ox Alpha that just appeared out of nowhere, and it is on par with Claude Fable 5 and GPT 5.6. So here's my full hands-on test of it. I'm going to run it through some really hard prompts, show you what it can and cannot do, and then we're going to go over the evidence of who's actually behind this model, because there are some pretty interesting clues. By the way, it's completely free to use right now, and I'll show you how to try it yourself. Let's jump right in. Alright, so this OX Alpha is like a stealth release of a frontier AI model. Currently, information is not available as to which lab made this specific model, but the thing here is that it is completely free to use for the next week inside of open code. It has a 1 million context window and is multimodal, so it can take in videos, images, and text, which is massive because currently most models can only do image and text. Also, this has zero data retention. This model is truly free because you get near unlimited usage, and OpenCode is saying that they have a capacity for 100 trillion tokens per day, which is pretty massive. I think this model is from a really big AI lab, as giving out 100 trillion free tokens per day is huge. They are doing this specific thing to test the model. So to actually use this model inside of OpenCode, you just need to go to the model selector and choose the OX Alpha free unlimited model, and that's it. Now you will be able to use the model. You can also change the reasoning or the effort level of the model from low to high to max, or you can just keep it at default if you like. So now the first prompt that I'm going to be providing to the AI model is this. I basically ask the model to design and create a very creative, elaborate, and detailed voxel art scene of a pagoda in a beautiful garden with trees, including some cherry blossoms. I asked it to make the scene very impressive and varied, use colorful voxels, and add as many details as possible to showcase its attention to them. It can use whatever libraries to get this done, but it must make sure to create everything inside a single HTML file. Let's run the prompt and see what happens. Alright, so this is the 3D voxel-like structure that the AI model has created. As you can see, this looks very nice and is highly impressive. Now, we also have a few settings here, but we are going to take a look at them a bit later. First, I want you to just see how impressive everything is. The smooth automatic rotating camera movement is pretty nice, but the only problem I can see right now is that the birds are not really that good looking. They are kind of distorted and broken, so to speak, but I really like the addition of the white clouds with all the different islands. Overall, this is beautiful, and the cherry blossom trees are also pretty nice. There's also smoke coming out of this little house where there's a fire, if you are able to properly see that. Overall, this is pretty nice. Now, there are also a few options for the time of day, so we can try and change it by clicking on one of these options. I am just going to click on the noon option here. As you can see, it changes the color scheme of the whole island. This looks pretty nice and gives the aesthetics of this specific build a different look. There is also a golden hour setting for the time of day, and it is pretty nice too. Now let's look at the night setting. I especially like the night because there are a lot of colors coming out of the house. Everything in the night segment looks great, and it is a lot different from dawn and noon. We also have a slider where we can manually adjust the time, so we can tweak it little by little if we want. The slider works perfectly fine. We also have 3 options to turn the auto orbit on and off. If I stop the auto orbit, the camera, the house, and everything else stop moving. If we turn it back on, they start to automatically move again with the rotation movement I mentioned. There is an option to remove the falling petals. If I turn it off, we will see no falling petals. There is also an option to remove bloom and glow. If I do that, there won't be any light. Overall, this was pretty good. For our next test, we are going to give the model this prompt. Create a real-time interactive fluid simulation in a single self-contained HTML file using WebGL with no libraries. Write the shaders yourself. I basically asked the model to write the shaders itself to test its abilities and see how skillful it actually is. I also gave it a few more requirements so it cannot become lazy. I am just going to run the prompt and see what kind of result we get. Now, there is a minor problem where it temporarily cannot connect to the API, but it gets solved by itself, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Alright, the AI model has finished generating the fluid.html file. Let's see what it has made. We are now inside the HTML fluid simulation that the model created, and it looks pretty nice. The movement and glowing of the fluids are pretty cool. Overall, this is a great fluid simulation. I think this This model is objectively on par with Claude Fable 5 and GPT 5.6, and in some use cases it might actually be better than them. It has added a lot of settings here. For example, there is a setting for viscosity. If we increase it, the viscosity of the fluid increases. If we decrease it to 0, there's almost no viscosity, and the fluids move very fast and very far. With higher viscosity, they don't move as much. Anyhow, these effects are pretty cool. There is also a setting for dissipation, which works as intended. Let me just lower the viscosity a little bit, and then this looks pretty good. There is also a setting for vorticity. If we increase it, the structure of the fluid gets more complex. If we decrease it to 0, there is almost no unique structure, and it behaves more like some kind of 2D gel or glue. But if we increase it to its maximum value, there is a lot of structure, and the complex movements feel much nicer. It overall looks much better. You can also decrease and increase the splat size. If we decrease it, the fluid is very small and does not spread that far. If we increase it, it becomes very big and spreads a lot. Overall, you can get some really nice effects through different combinations of these settings. We can even change the color from Lagoon to Ember. The Ember color looks pretty nice and impressive. Can also change the color to Orchid, which is very nice too. I especially like that one. The only problem I see here is that the text for the measurements is going outside of the box, which is a bit of an issue, but otherwise the main simulation works really well. Next, I want to test the model's ability to create really nice games. I gave the model this prompt: build a 3D car battle in Smash Kart style. It should be utterly perfect and visually beautiful, with every single thing done at AAA quality, from textures to physics to anything you can think of. I also asked the model to build everything inside a single HTML file. I am just going to run the prompt and see what happens. This is the game that the model created, called Turbo Clash. We are just going to click here. The model has added and done a lot of things, but we're just going to enter the arena. The game so far looks pretty good, and the overall quality is nice. I can move pretty well, and there are these boxes which when collected give us a machine gun. Upon pressing space, we are able to shoot the machine gun at the other robots and destroy them. We can just aim at them and eliminate them. I just got killed by another bot, but anyhow, the overall feel and aesthetics of the game look great, and nothing feels broken. There are also speed bumps, so if we drive over them, we get a speed boost. I'm not really that good at playing games, so it is a bit difficult for me to control my car and actually eliminate the bots, but otherwise the visual and the specific game are great. Overall, this is a really nice game. Next, I wanted to test out this model's web design skills. I gave the model this prompt: you are OX Alpha, the mysterious stealth AI model that appeared on OpenRouter with no name, no company, no explanation. This model also appeared on OpenCode, and we are using it here for free. You can use this specific model on OpenRouter as well, where they also have a free tier. Anyway, I gave the model my core requirements so it doesn't get lazy while working. Let's run the prompt and see what happens. Alright, the model has finished generating the HTML code for our app and named the website oxalpha.html. I am just going to open it now. The animation when we first enter the website is pretty nice, and I really like the choice of fonts along with the orangish highlight. There is this OX Alpha text in bold, and we also have the text identity unconfirmed, so the model knows how to create that mysterious look. The first text it wrote is, "No maker claimed me, so I claimed myself." Then it added this white cube, and when I hover my mouse over it, my cursor turns into a question mark with the text, "Is doing wonders for my mystique." This line does not make complete sense, but it adds to the mystique and creates the vibe of a mysterious, stealthy model. Anyhow, we are going to look past it and go to the next section, which is the facts. Here it searched the internet and found the context window of the model, which is 1,048,000 tokens. It also included the max input and output. Furthermore, it listed the input modalities: text, image, and video. So we are currently seeing a highly multimodal model. I am really happy that this model has a video input option. It comes with native vision, which is great because video input is something current state-of-the-art models lack. This limitation causes those models to fail in tasks that require actual vision rather than just analyzing still images. Having video input will also be very useful for computer use tasks, and currently the price is completely free. In the origin section, the model added another white block, and when I hover my mouse cursor over it, it turns into a question mark. It also added a section called Exhibit B Finding Log, and wrote the evidence. The internet did what the internet does best when nobody signs their work. It investigated. One vendor in particular keeps, so then it blocks out the text. I don't know why it needed to censor that specific part. Then it says, click a finding to open its file. I don't fully understand it since blocking the main word makes the text nonsensical, but overall the website animations are pretty nice. It also added another section called Exhibit See the Lineup, where the model tries to answer the question, who made me? It wrote the text, 5 theories, 0 confessions. As you can see, this model is not that capable in terms of creative writing because the text is pretty clunky. Anyone would read this and instantly know it was generated by AI. It added 5 options and generated a fake number of votes. Nobody actually voted here. This is all data the model made up. It placed JAI at the top, which is quite interesting. It could be a new GLM model, like GLM5 or something. It also added a few more options for companies that could have made it, and you can cast your vote on the website. Currently, JAI is winning according to the made-up data. If I click to vote for someone else, the count actually goes up. Let's see, can I vote for another company? If I want to vote for Zipu AI, for example, I can. I can vote for all these companies, and the numbers just keep going up, so clearly it did not think the voting system through correctly. Anyhow, the website is pretty nice. I would say it is on the same level as Claude Fable 5 in terms of web design. It also added these really cool buttons at the top of the website. If you click on any of them, the page auto-scrolls to that specific section. Overall, the website was very nice. Now, I think this model is actually a model from Google, as I think Gemini 3.5 Pro is going to be released very soon, and it is just like the public testing phase of that model. So that was about it for the video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.